What's up and welcome to the Bleav in Hornets podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network presented by Bet Online. My name is Sam Dracula. Raymond Felton is with me. Raymond, how are you?
I'm doing good, my guy. I'm doing good.
Great to talk to you as always, and thank you out there for listening to the podcast. We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, usually every Monday. I had a scheduling conflict, so we're a little later in the week. Apologies, we'll be back to normal next week. One thing I do want to mention, if you have any questions for Raymond or myself, feel free to tweet them at us. Use the hashtag Hornets Pod, or I have a Discord in my YouTube description if you want to join that. There's a channel where you can submit questions for the show and get involved that way. Since we last talked, the Hornets, the All-Star break has come and gone. Hornets are 2-2 in that time. It's been a rocky road. Overtime loss to the Pistons, a blowout to the Bucks. You know, the good with the bad. It is what it is. Raymond, how you feeling about the squad post All-Star break at this point?
I mean, it's what's to be expected, man. Coming off the All-Star break, you're going to be a little up and down at first, you know. Get that break, get away from the game. You come back, you know, trying to get your mental back together and get your mind back right to play basketball and finish out strong in the second half of the season. So, you know, 2-2, I'll take that better than 0-4.
No doubt, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll take that. So, but it's all about, like, you know, getting healthy. Those guys got to get 100% healthy. You know, guys got to get used to playing with each other again and, you know, getting that rhythm that I feel like they had early on and when they was really rolling. And they can be a dangerous team. They can definitely be a dangerous team.
Yeah, I know Rod Boone with The Observer asked a bunch of different Hornets players their views on what's going wrong. You know, some had different answers, but you can, you know, from TV you can tell rebounding, defense. I think when, like you mentioned, the health thing, we haven't seen this team fully healthy with Harrell, and now the newest Hornet, Isaiah Thomas. We'll talk about that as well in this episode. But you know, when this team is fully healthy and everyone's available, it should open things up from a rotation point of view where Borrego can play the matchups better when they have, let's play the Cavs. We do something different than we would do against the Raptors, per se. Mm-hmm. You know, we have options ahead of us that we didn't have previously, and maybe, you know, with 18 games left in the season, could see some positive outcomes, hopefully, and get in a better spot in the play-in. Because I think we're destined for the play-in at this point. You know, the Hornets are a 9 seed right now, 1 win above the Hawks, 1 win behind the Nets. We'll see what happens with that. But I'll take it. I'll take the play-in at this point. And then hopefully things go better than they did against the Pacers, which was still outrageous because the Pacers were imploding at that time. You know, the coach got fired. I was talking to a Pacers fan who was like, yeah, like everyone wants out of there. So, you know, redemption, I think. Redemption's headed our way here shortly. But we're going to talk about the games post All-Star break. Isaiah Thomas, Cody Martin returning and all that good stuff after this break. Football might be over for this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. Head over to betonline.ag or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code BLEAV. BLEAV, Bleav, to get started. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds right to your favorite Olympic events. From sports right down to your favorite Vegas casino games, BetOnline is your #1 online wagering destination. BetOnline, the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports and play your favorite games. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so the first game back after the All-Star break against Toronto. Man, this is the team that we were like waiting on, basically. The break did the Hornets so well. They came out firing, got to an early start and held the lead throughout the game. The Raptors kind of looked like how the Hornets looked going into the All-Star break. Like Van Vliet was hurting. You know, he was like doubtful, I think, the day before. He was like nursing a knee injury, I think. There's no Anunoby. And the Hornets took advantage of it. So it was really great to see, like a great like statement win at home. Gave the home fans something to cheer about. It was nice to hear the Spectrum Center loud, you know? It's a great fan base, right?
Yeah, no question, 100%. I missed that fan base, man. It was a lot of fun when I was playing back in the day when we was the Bobcats. But Yeah, I mean, you got to come out after the All-Star break and make a statement, especially if you're one of those teams who's a playoff team. You got to come out these last, I don't know what it was, 22 games maybe they had left. You got to come out rocking. You got to come out making a point each and every night. You know, sometimes the end result may not be a win, but you got to let every team know that, you know, we here to play. We here to stay. We playing for something. It ain't no we playing just to win games or to get lottery picks. We playing to win. We playing for something. So, yeah, it was definitely good to see come out that first game the way they did.
Yeah, and we saw the return of Cody Martin in that game. Snapped a 3-game losing streak. So, yeah, things were looking up, you know. And then you look at the schedule and you see the Pistons there, right? Pistons towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference. The Hornets have like a 15-game winning streak against the Pistons. We talked about it last week about how previous appearances, the Hornets put it on the Pistons twice, 140 points, 141 points a second meeting. That Pistons team is good. Like, they're not, I mean, obviously, you know, you look at the record and you're like, oh, man, this team can't be good. But they're a good team, especially really lately. Good. They flipped a switch. Listen, and Cade,
they was playing well before the break.
Yeah.
And I was like, this team is dangerous. Ain't they getting healthy? They got guys coming back. They got their full team in circle now. And it's unfortunately at the end of the season it's happening for them, you know what I'm saying? But they're a dangerous team. They're young, they're energetic, they play hard, they're athletic, you know, they can score. I mean, I like the look up of their team, man. You know what I'm saying? But I told you for the break, I said that was a game that I was a little scary about because the way the Hornets beat them the last time, it was kind of embarrassing. So I was like, this team gonna come in ready to play this time.
Yeah, and you look at the schedule. The next night, the Hornets flew to Milwaukee to play the Bucks, so it had perfect trap game potential there, right? As a player, how do you stay focused and not worry about the next opponent when you have those back-to-backs when they're where you have to travel and play that same day?
It's hard not to, you know, but you know, you still just have to stay focused and say one game at a time. You can't worry about the game after. You know, you just got to really just stay there and just, you know, focus on that particular game. And it happens when you think that, oh, we're going to beat this team, but man, we got Milwaukee. And it's like, nah, you can't do that to no teams in the NBA. You know, you can't do that. You can't just like, oh, we're just going to, we know we're going to beat them no matter what. And it's like, nah, you know, you come out here and mess around. They're going to mess around, beat you. Yeah. You know, and that's what happens.
Yeah, Kelly Olynyk, dagger, jumper to end the game. Wow, I couldn't believe what I was saying. Like, salute to the Pistons, man. Salute to the Pistons because they don't, like, I'm using air quotes here, they don't have anything to play for other than pride, right? They're not making the play-in by any circumstance. So I respect that they're not out there tanking, you know, and that Cade is progressing and looking like the number 1 overall pick, you know. I wonder, like, if he saw like the Evan Mobley stuff earlier, like, wait a minute. I'm the number 1 pick. Relax. Like, everyone needs to relax. Scotty Barnes, what? No, I'm Cade Cunningham. And you saw some of that against the Hornets.
This kid is special. He's gonna be special. You know what I'm saying? And so are those guys too. Those 2 guys you just mentioned, Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley. Those 2 guys are very, very good, and they've been playing good all season. Yeah. So, you know, and Katie just, you know, trying to find his footing. I think he came in, he was hurt for a little bit at the beginning of the season, and you know, he was still trying to find his footing once he came back. You know, and you know, kind of got behind the ball in a sense when it comes to like Rookie of the Year and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Does he have that type of potential? Sure, no question. He's really good. Yeah. But if I had to give it to somebody, it'd be one of those guys.
Oh, same here. Especially with the record the Cavs have. Like, that was for me when going back to last year. That was the biggest. Not that if I don't have a vote, if I did, it would be for LaMelo because of the record the Hornets had when they're playing in their best, flirting with that 4 seed. Because Anthony Edwards had an incredible year last year. But Minnesota didn't play in a single meaningful game all season long versus the Hornets playing at a high level for a decent chunk of the season. I think you look at their numbers, they had incredible rookie years, but I look at the team winning as a notch towards LaMelo, despite missing all those games. And the credit to Anthony Edwards for being healthy all year. But, yeah, I mean, I think LaMelo did enough before he got hurt, and then being able to come back after the injury for the last 10 games of the season, even though he wasn't quite the same player with that wrist injury. I think he showed a lot of toughness out of our rookie year.
I mean, they was very successful when he was healthy when he was there. You know, things kind of went down a little bit when he left. So, you know, you got to look at that as well, too. And I'm pretty sure the committee who picks that, they looked at that as well.
Oh, no doubt.
Mm-hmm.
So after the Pistons lost, you know, Hornets remain now winless in overtime. It's a weird one. We'll see what happens with that. It's something that hopefully they don't find themselves in many overtime situations anyway. But you just kind of take it as it comes, right? Next night they played Milwaukee. This was a blowout. No way to sugarcoat it. At its worst, the Hornets were down 35 points. Raymond, as a pro, what goes through your mind when you're like faced with that type of like point deficit? Are you just trying to like slowly chip away at it? You're just trying to work on some things, knowing the game's kind of out of hand?
Well, you know, you got to keep fighting. You can't give up because that thing it can go from 35 to 50. From 50 to 60, it can just keep going up. So, you know, you got to have some type of pride and keep playing and, you know, try to, like you say, like, you know, eat away at it a little bit, try to get that score down. Even if you know, okay, we're not going to come back and win this game, but they're not going to sit here and embarrass us either.
Right.
So, you know, you gotta kind of go about it that way. And it's hard because, you know, you're frustrated, especially when a team is just really outplaying you that night. They just hitting everything. They get to more of the loose balls than you. You're just always a step behind. And, you know, it's like they shooting the ball in the ocean. They hitting everything. And just it gets frustrating. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, you got to just, you know, like I said, stay the course and just keep fighting.
Yeah, Giannis, 26 and 16 on 6 assists. 4 blocks, 2 steals. Insane. He's insane.
Yeah.
you saw rookie Giannis, right? So like, and you played against him. What's your viewpoint on Giannis from his first year in the league and seeing his growth and progression over these years?
I told a whole bunch of the guys on the team because I was with the Knicks and we was playing them, and he was playing Melo so hard. It was so funny, man. I remember like it was yesterday. He was like this kid that would just playing him so hard. He was hungry, and he was just like, you know, he was like overdoing it in a sense. And, you know, we was kind of chuckling at him a little bit, laughing at him on the bench a little bit because, you know, he was like going extra hard, and he couldn't do nothing with Melo. You know, Melo was in his prime, and Melo was hitting with pump fakes and jab steps, pulling up in his face, just really almost embarrassing him in a sense. But I looked at the kid though, and I could just see that fight, that desire, and that hungriness he had. And I said, yo, but I told him before, you know, after we all stopped laughing at him, I said, yo, he gonna be special. I told him that. I said, he gonna be special. I said, because he got that hunger and that desire. And you looked at the makeup of his body. Yeah. This kid arms was so long and it was just crazy. I was like, man, listen, if he worked, it's gonna be scary. Now look at him.
Yeah.
Now look at him. Probably one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant player in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
Like just
what do you think of Charles Oakley saying he wouldn't start or whatever he said about Giannis? He couldn't play in the 80s. He couldn't start for a team in the 80s or 90s.
He said he couldn't have?
Yeah. I found the exact quote, but Charles Oakley had smoke for Giannis out of nowhere.
Yeah. You know, that's man. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't gonna talk bad. I ain't gonna talk bad about my but at the end of the day, like, talent is talent, you know. And my OG know that. But he was an abuser. So, you know, he was one of those guys that, you know, Giannis wasn't gonna be able to bully him or do all that stuff that he do now. You know, so I understand from his mindset, in his mind, like, nah, he couldn't have played. He couldn't have played down there with me. He could have played with us. But, you know, me, I'm gonna say, nah, he could have played back then. Just his athleticism and his physicality. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was physical back then. So he wouldn't have been as dominant, should I say. He wouldn't be able to just abuse people like that every night. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that would be the case. But to just say he couldn't have played back then, nah, I can't totally say that.
Yeah, so Oakley, to his credit, said he, being Giannis, wouldn't have been a force back in the day. He would have struggled. They would have make him shoot jump shots. He wouldn't be doing a Euro step to the basket. Someone's gonna knock his head off and he come off the bench. The bench, I think that's where people are like, he's gonna come off the bench. Like that may be a little like one sentence too far, I think.
But the other part, you know, of course, you know what I'm saying, they was, you know, back in the day, they was definitely more defensive sound. Yeah. It was more defensive oriented. Like, you know, it was tough to score back then. That's why everybody have these conversations about who's the GOAT and all this and that. I'm like, come on, man. If you watch The Last Dance, you would definitely know who the GOAT is, man. Yeah. Did you see the abuse that man took? Come on now. Yeah. Come on. There ain't nobody playing like that now.
No, sir. No, sir.
Ain't nobody playing like that now, so come on. But anyway, that's another topic. But it's just the game was totally different back then, man. It was just totally different.
Well, so moving to the most recent game against Cleveland, a very big game, right? A team the Hornets have struggled with in the past with Mobley and Jared Allen, the length the Cavs have, plus with Garland, like that Cavs team is really deep and really talented. The Hornets showed up, though. You know, we had a big game from Terry Rozier. He likes playing against the Cavs. He likes playing against his former hometown team, Kelly Oubre, 19 points off the bench. The main thing, outside of like really everybody got involved, honestly, but we had the debut of the newest Hornet, Isaiah Thomas. Here's a tease. We'll talk about that right after the break. What's more important than peace of mind? Nothing. And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you're online. And with all the threats that you face today on the internet, it's more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either. And plans start under $4 per month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/Bleav or use the code Bleav, BLEAV, to get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan plus one additional month for free. It's also risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, so the day before the Hornets played the Cavs, they announced that Isaiah Thomas was signed to a 10-day contract. So before I talk about, we talk about Isaiah joining the squad, I want to talk about the 10-day contract in general with you. If you're in the locker room and the team brings in a guy on a 10-day contract, what's the mentality? Is it different than a free agent signing or a trade scenario where it's more permanent, or you're looking like kind of to help the guy shine while he's with the roster on that 10-day trial?
No question, man. Definitely if it's somebody that, we know we need, I'm definitely trying to encourage him. I'm definitely trying to make him feel comfortable, give him all the help possible, whatever he needs, help him with the plays, help him with, the game plan, whatever we're trying to do, what our identity is, all the things that, need to make him comfortable, on and off the court. You have to do that. And I think with Isaiah, him going to the G League is just not an option. Like, he goes down there every time and he scores 45. He scores 50. And it's like, he's just too good. And I just hope he can find another situation where, his talent fits another team or it fits the offense. And, he's a bona fide scorer. At his size, he's still going to score with the best of them. And I just hope that he could be put in a situation where that's all he needs to do. But on the flip side of that, he knows how to play the game. He's very clever. He's smart. He knows how to pass. He just knows the game, man. He's just a kid that knows how to play. And I just hope he can find somewhere where he can stick. And these last few games, with some people still out, I feel like he can help Charlotte. So hopefully this 10-day works out and maybe they can, keep him on the roster. I don't know how the roster looks or if they even have room, to even keep him. But I think it would be something good for Charlotte. They can keep a guy like that. They can go get you a bucket. That's used to taking big time shots and things like that. I think that would be something very helpful.
Yeah, so like the Hornets had a vacancy basically in their backcourt when they traded Ish Smith to Washington for Harold and the Harold deal. And I guess the plan was for Terry to do some of the backup point guard duties, but I think they're kind of overextending him, really. He's doing two roles there in the roster. He can do it, but I don't know how sustainable it is, especially. And then I also added into it, Book Knight's been up and down between Charlotte and Greensboro. I don't know what his short-term plans are with the team. So having a guy like Isaiah to come in, at least for now, because I think Book Knight's nursing an injury anyway. So I don't know how available he would be if he was with the big team in Charlotte. So having Isaiah come in off rip, you know, what he play 14 minutes, 10 points, 36% shooting, 2 of 7 from 3, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 turnovers. You know, for just joining the team 24 hours prior, not too bad, honestly. The team, everybody was clicking. The chemistry seemed to be there already. And it was garbage time, but I really liked him running with like JT Thor, Kai Jones, like the other young guys on the team, like having that one veteran surrounded by 4 youngsters. I like that, you know, like using that knowledge. Terry said this about Isaiah, that he's a pro, he's a vet, he's been there before, and he looked the part. You can just see his basketball IQ, his savviness, he knows how to play. And I thought he was a big spark for us here tonight. That was after the Cleveland game. You know, he knows Terry, he knows Hayward pretty well from the time in Boston. So, you know, 18 games left in the season. The playoffs are not far away at all. I hope he sticks it out. I'm excited about the potential of having a veteran backup like that.
No, I really do too. I really think he can help. And like you said, losing Ish was big. No, that's big. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's putting a lot of pressure because, you know, you really need Terry to really score the ball. You need him to do what he do, and that's be a dog and put that ball in the hole and just be a playmaker. You know what I'm saying? So you telling him to do that and then turn around and go run the second unit. Like, nah. You know, bringing a guy like Isaiah who I feel like can run the second unit and be a bona fide scorer in that second unit as well. You know, a guy who can get hot off the bench and put up some numbers for you. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see that, man. And I think them being a playoff team and them trying to, you know, go do something, I don't think the Boatwright kid is quite ready for that yet. You know, I think he still needs some more time of playing and, you know, some more time up on his belt. No offense to him. You know, I think he's a very talented kid and he's going to be, you know, somebody special for this team in the future. But for what they need for these last 18 games and for the second half of the season, I think Isaiah really fits in perfect, to be honest.
Yeah, and, you know, LaMelo got into foul trouble, so maybe Isaiah got into the mix sooner than expected. But I think he made the most out of the opportunity, and the team in general, you know, when you defeat a team like the Cavs, right, and you don't need LaMelo, like LaMelo had no field goals and played 8 minutes and still handled the Cavs. That tells you something about this roster. So imagine this roster when it's fully back. You know, Nick, Cody back, McDaniels, Hayward to be determined, and then we're off to the races, man. Like I think this team can ruin some people's good times. You know, this Hornets team will be a tough out, I think, when it comes to the play-in/playoffs. Once everyone gets right again. It's got to get healthy. That's the big one. And then the easy part comes, playing basketball. The injured ankles and feet, man. That's tougher. That's a tougher obstacle to overcome.
No question.
One thing I wanted to talk to you about as well was free throw shooting in general, right? So the Hornets right now are the third worst free throw shooting team in the league percentage-wise. Not to pick on Mason Plumlee. He knows, like I'm not saying anything he doesn't know himself, but he was shot 67% from the free throw line last year. This year is 36%. That's a massive drop-off. He's a career 55% shooter. So, like, he hasn't been, like, crushing it. Like, that's not where he, you know, makes his bread from the free throw line. Right. But what does that do mentally when, like, the free throws aren't falling? Not specific to him, just in general. From a tactical point of view, from a player mentality point of view.
Right. I mean, tactical point of view, you know, that's tough because if you top 3 of the bottom of the free throws and you trying to win games, that kind of explains why, you know, a lot of games is going to overtime, why a lot of games are not being won in overtime. You know, you can't go to the free throw line and knock down free throws consistently as a team. You know, that stuff adds up at the end of the game. Like, it really adds up. So I think that's something that, you know, they all should spend time, you know, doing that after practice, before practice, you know, on their own, whatever you got to do. You know, I just think little things like that is whatever you got to do to make our team better, you know, as a unit, as a group. You know, whether I got to go take more free throws on my own, each and every person, or we do it as a team, like coach just, you know, say, all right, everybody take 50 free throws before they leave today, you know, for practice. Like, you know, so just little things like that. Because it becomes mental, man. It becomes like once the game get on the line, you know, you want to have that confidence that, you know, whoever gets fouled or whatever goes on, that they're going to go up there and have that confidence in themselves to go down, knock down on free throws. So, that's rough. And, with Mason, I think just most bigs ain't that great anyway at shooting free throws, So, like you said, that's not the way he make his money. But at the same time, like, you still got to find a way to be above 50. You got to be above 50. We got to at least say you're going to hit one of these free throws every time you get up there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So that's just, like I said, it's all about just getting in the gym and just taking extra free throws. That's really all he has to do and the whole team has to do.
Yeah, and going back to Giannis, because, like, he struggled with free throws early on in his career, and especially, and he made it a point to not be, let his failures stop him from succeeding. Really going after it and improving that, even extending his range from the floor. So it's not a Giannis podcast. I'm a big fan of Giannis, if you couldn't tell. He's one of my favorite, if not my favorite player in the league right now. I love watching him play. Kind of wish he was in Charlotte, but it's okay. That's something for another day. So 18 games left. We got the Hornets got the Spurs. When is it? When is that game? Is that Sunday? Hold on. Saturday, March 5th. Against the Spurs. Also, real quick, if you're in Charlotte, it's a big sports day in Charlotte. The home opener for the Charlotte MLS team is on Saturday as well. 70,000 people are meant to be there at Bank of America Stadium.
Wow.
I'll be one of them. I'll be there. I'm excited for that. Hopefully we get a dub in the first one.
Okay.
So
it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah. So like that game's at 7. Charlotte. FC. All I know is when the tailgate starts. I have no idea when the actual game starts. 7:30. Okay. So yeah, LA Galaxy.
So what time the Hornets play?
They play at 7. They play 30 minutes before. So I'm curious. If they're gonna have legit, if they're gonna have 70,000 people in Bank of America, and then what's Spectrum seat, like 15, 20, something like that?
20 something, yeah.
That's a lot of people in Uptown Charlotte. First time in a long time. Pre-pandemic. Like I don't know last time that many people were in Uptown for a sporting event. So like,
Charlotte's gonna be crazy.
Charlotte's a budding sports city. So I'm very, very excited to see that. And hopefully, there's people they show out for the Spurs game because people may be sleeping on the Spurs too. DeJounte Murray is having an incredible year. I'm glad he got some All-Star love. And so
I like that kid. I like that kid a lot. I like him a lot.
Same, man. He's crushing it. He's a walking triple-double. Excellent defensively. And the Spurs have a nice young player on their hands, definitely. I don't know how they keep doing it. They keep doing that. How they keep doing that?
They do it. They find them. I'm telling you, Pop is the best at it. I'm telling you, he is the best at it.
Oh, man, no doubt. They got the Nets next, Celtics have really turned things around as well post All-Star and actually post trade deadline in general. Pelicans, they're way better than they were at the beginning of the year. They're a potential play-in team in the Western Conference. Hornets fans, it's going to be a weird one. We still need them to win games so we get their first-round pick. Remember that? And then the Thunder, those are the next 5 games. So we'll see how they go. I think what's so weird about this Hornets team is like you don't know which team is going to show up on a nightly basis. So when you look at opponents, it's hard to forecast and be like, well, we should match up well against the Spurs, let's say. But then you look back, all right, well, we really struggled against the Pistons or struggled mightily against a Bucks team that we've defeated before, right? So like on a nightly basis. So I think once everyone gets back in the consistency will solve itself once the players have some familiarity with each other and know like, all right, this is who we'll roll out on a nightly basis. Yeah, it's a weird one, but I'm here for it. 18 games left. We'll see what happens. That's the best part about sports. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Is that Brooklyn game at home or on the road?
Ooh, let's see here. Brooklyn. So yeah, we got home against San Antonio, home against Brooklyn, home against Boston, and then New Orleans, Oklahoma City. So Kyrie's coming to town March 8th, Tuesday, 7 p.m.
Tuesday. I'm gonna have to go catch that one. I'll be in town.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll be in town.
That'd be a good one.
Catch that. I'm gonna have to go catch that one.
All right.
See him and KD in action with all them other guys. With Seth, Drummond, and all those guys.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
Homecoming for Seth. I'm sure a lot of people would be excited to see him. Del Curry, I'm sure, is excited to watch one of his sons come through the town as always. Joe Harris, not to dwell on the Nets, but Joe Harris is officially out for the season. There's like a slim chance he came back, so one less shooter for them. So we'll see how that plays out as well. That's something I think came out this week.
Okay.
Which is unfortunate because he's a big piece to what they had planned.
No question.
In Brooklyn. But listen, Hornets, time will tell. We'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. Thank you so much for listening to the Bleav in Hornets podcast on the Bleav Podcast Network, presented by Bet Online. If you have any questions for the show, tweet Raymond or myself. Use the hashtag HornetsPod. We'll see you next time.